Yo, people, we live again. Football Heritage with me, your boy Josh and Dan. We're in the building. We've been gone for a minute, but we're back in it. Hope you guys haven't missed us too much. But obviously, we're all busy people, man. We all got different priorities, things that we're working on. So it's hard to stay as consistent as we used to be. But come on, man. When we're live in it. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share with your people. But let's go straight into it, man. Go straight into it. Talk about the Premier League title race, man. Let's talk about your boy Arsenal. Drew 2-2 with West Ham. Let's go. Let's actually just go straight into it because I don't like the talk now. Yeah, the way people are trying to say Arsenal throwing away the lead and stuff like that, or the title. Because bro, I don't think man understand title race. You get what I'm saying? There is always going to be ups and
Mm,
downs. There's always going to be drop
of
points.
course, yeah.
And so the way people are making it seem two draws in a row, 2-0 up is concerning, very, very concerning. But at the same time, I'm looking at it and saying Saliba coming back is a big thing because that's Arsenal's defender, isn't it? That's your pillar, that's your rock, isn't it? So him coming back is
Mm,
going to be a big thing. But I just think there's a thing of maybe because there's a new challenger now. It's Liverpool have always been the challenger, so now Arsenal are coming like almost as the Dark Knights out of nowhere. There's almost this thing of, are you sure you're ready for this battle with City? The ones there, like people aren't sure if you can handle it. Well, I
mm,
feel like Arsenal they will go all the way to the end in my eyes. Like I feel like the consistency is there. I don't think Arsenal crumble as much. Of course, they've given away 2 goals. I hear it, but I don't feel the same sort of fatigue or fragileness as they used to have. But I feel there's a thing now where it's just a thing about consistency, about digging deep now. That's where we're in. We're in crutch time. It's not a thing about XG and all these sorts of things. It's about big boy performances. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like
mm,
one thing Arsenal fans just need to have is just the belief in their team, in it. Worrying is normal, in it, because you got City breathing down your neck, and we're going to talk about Haaland as well. But now is the worst time to lose faith. Now is the worst time to lose faith because that's if you do lose faith, you're going to drop off completely, and
mm,
that's going to be a sour end to the season. You might start it here and there, but you want to at least finish the line knowing that you know what we gave you our all. But Dan, let me go to you. How you feeling now with the title race, and what did you learn from the West Ham games that you think need to be eradicated straight away?
Um, I think it's like you said. I think the title race is gonna it's gonna have ups and downs in it. It's a roller coaster. It's a title race. Like, I think the only reason people think it's done is because of how City have been in the past in terms of like finishing off a season, and like even that to a certain extent, people are taking it a little bit too far. Like people are saying, "Oh, City always win 15 games in a row." That's not necessarily true. Like only once in the past like 5 or 6 years have they actually won all of their last 10 games. And that was I don't know if that was the season that they caught up against Liverpool or the other season, but only once. Like every other season, they've either drawn 3 or 4 or lost 2 or whatever, but they've dropped points. So I think it's a bit, I think it's a bit of like a narrative that people are given, and is one of them things where, like I think I said it earlier in the group chat, people have been using them narratives all season to just kind of downplay what Arsenal have done to a certain extent. Like I remember I've said it quite a few times, but how it's just so egregious how people were saying Arsenal are only in a title race because City's having an off season. Like I mean, Haaland's just shattered the goal record. Um, De Bruyne's on like 15 assists with 10 games to go. They're looking to complete the treble and maybe even the double domestically anyway. They're just battered Bayern 3-0 in Europe. Like they're clearly not having an off season. They're clearly not a bad team. They're a very, very good team. Like it's just that we were very, very good pre World Cup and just after the World Cup. So I mean, for me, the idea that they're gonna win their last 10 games is an extension of that narrative because I feel like a lot of people don't want Arsenal to win, despite what they may be saying. I think City's always the team where unless your team win it, they're the team that you kind of want to win because no one really cares about City to a certain extent. Like it sounds rude, but especially in terms of rivalry sake, City are less kind of prominent than all the other big six. So if City win, it's not really seen as a problem because you won't really have to hear it. So I think that's kind of why it is. But they will do very, very well to win their last 10 games. And if they do win their last 10 games, then no one can say they don't deserve to win the title. Do you know what I mean? Like, that would just be an incredible, incredible achievement.
Mhm.
And as Arsenal fans, we can't really be mad. If they win their last 10 games, it is what it is. But for us, we just need to focus on being consistent. Like the West Ham and the Liverpool games were concerning. I think the Liverpool game is less concerning because of the context given. Like it's Anfield, so you're never going to go and have an easy game at Anfield. You are going to whether it's a short period of time or a long period of time, you're going to be under pressure and big pressure. Like it's not an easy place to go. It's not. I would say it's by far the hardest place to go in the Premier League. And we in the first half anyway, we looked very good. The second half again dropped off. But the context I think that is required is the fact that Holding was playing as well. And like I think rival fans and like mainstream media have kind of said that we're scapegoating him, but when you look at the effect that Holding has on the rest of the team, it's very, very clear why we haven't been as good. Like since Holding has came into the team, we've conceded a lot more goals. Since Holding has came into the team, we've had a lot less possession through the lines, like to through our from our defense to our midfield, and down the right we've struggled a lot, like because Ben White hasn't been able to get forward and help Saka, and because he had to stay back and essentially hold Rob Holding's hand defensively. Like we even saw it from in the West Ham game. The two or three times that Ben White went forward, Rob Holding was getting he was letting Antonio get the ball at his feet and turn and run past him from the halfway line all the way up to the penalty box. And like
Mhm.
I'm not saying that Saliba wouldn't have allowed that, but I just don't think it's likely to happen if it's not Rob Holding playing. And equally, like Ben Rama barged Holding off the ball when we were playing yesterday or the day before. I mean, like he's just such a liability and it's such a knock on effect for the way we play. That's why I think we've been bad. But that being said, there's no excuse for Southampton. Southampton at home, I think they're bottom of the league. We have to beat Southampton. Like there's no we can't use that Rob Holding excuse. We have to beat them. And if we do beat them, we go to the Etihad with 7 point lead. I know we'll have played two games more, but it's just quite a comfortable position. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather
Mhm.
have the points on the board than the games in hand because the games in hand, there's no guarantee that you win. And I mean, if we go to the Etihad and with 7 points ahead, then it's a much stronger position. And I feel like if we come away there with a draw, we'll be looking very good. Whereas if we go there with 4 points and come away with a draw, it's not looking too great. That's it's important to go there anyway. But yeah, I think that's my perspective of Arsenal. It,
Mhm.
it really the City game is gonna be the most important. Like that's without question that will
100%.
decide the title race for me. Like if Arsenal go to the Etihad and don't lose, not even just for the points, just for the confidence, it will be huge. And especially City, if City don't win at the Etihad, considering they have other potential avenues, they have the FA Cup, they have the Champions League. I think they might be more inclined to invest more in the Champions League than the title race. So I guess we'll have to wait till then, but I wouldn't be panicking just yet or writing Arsenal off just yet.
No, I agree with you, man. I think, yeah, like you're saying with getting Saliba back as soon as possible. Because I mean, Holden is he even your third choice? Like, who's the third choice meant to be? Is it Tomiyasu
It's meant to
or?
be so it's meant to be Ben White. Like obviously Ben White's playing right back, but if Saliba or Gabriel got injured, he would play there. But he can't play centre back because Tomiyasu is injured as well. So the fact that both Saliba and Tomiyasu are injured, we can't kind of rotate the back four.
Yeah, man. That's the issue in it. Because I don't Saliba's being out is a big thing, but it's just the
Mm,
depth and obviously the
mm.
injury now with Tomiyasu is the big one now. Because if Tomiyasu was there, he would obviously play fullback. Because obviously
Yeah,
White and Saliba and Gabriel have a relationship from last season, isn't it? So
Mm.
it's not a thing out of nowhere. So yeah, that's a big concern, that one. What about, are you concerned about the midfield? Would you look at replacing Xhaka or Partey
Um,
a bit more?
Not so much the midfield moving in the last 10 games. I think definitely in the summer, the midfield is going to be the big priority. Like I know Rice is the main target, and I personally think we should get both Rice and Caicedo because I think that's especially the age profile. Caicedo is 20 or 21. Rice is I think
Mm,
23, 24, and partner them with Odegaard who's 24. That's a very very good midfield for the next 5 6 years. So I think
mm,
that they should be the main targets. In terms of this season, though, the problem is the options off the bench aren't ideal. Like Jorginho is a good player, but I don't see how he replaces Xhaka stylistically. I'm not
mm.
sure why Smith Rowe hasn't been given a chance. That's one thing that I think you can question Arteta on is his substitutions and why certain players haven't been playing as much. Like Saka was left on yesterday when he wasn't having a great game. Jesus was taken off yesterday when he was probably our best player. Is kind of strange, and you can question Arteta about it. But in midfield, I don't know what other change really we could make.
Mm, mm. So yeah, you're not looking at Vieira to come in and at all. You don't think he's
Potentially, but the thing with Vieira is I don't think he can replace Xhaka's role. I think he could only really replace Odegaard's role because he's not combative enough. Like Xhaka's
mm,
defensive positioning and just the fact that he wins a lot of duels in midfield is a big asset, whereas Vieira is very kind of he has a very slight frame and defensively he's nowhere near as aware.
yeah, I hear you. I hear you. And obviously, you mentioned about Saka. I
Mm.
wouldn't, maybe like against Southampton, you could maybe play Nelson or someone like that. But you know what? I was even thinking because you said drop Saka maybe for one game and then have it back for City game. I don't know. Maybe if you want to be risky, a mentally angry Saka on the bench against City might, you never know.
I
Got a
don't know
point
if
to
you
prove,
can.
like,
I don't know if you can risk that, man. Like I rate
mm,
Trossard highly, but Saka's he's Bukayo Saka, man.
I hear that. I hear that.
I
But
think if it were down to me, I'd rest him against Southampton, play Trossard on that right, or maybe Jesus, whoever you want to play, and then that City game, bring him back.
yeah, I hear that. I hear that. No, I understand you. Like me personally, I wouldn't drop Saka in it. It's like
Mm.
that's like one of your best players. You keep them on, especially in these moments where you need all the quality possible. Because all you're looking for is moments now, isn't it? Like this
Yeah,
isn't about yeah,
yeah. We don't need to prove we're a good team anymore. Like we just need to get over
yeah,
the line.
exactly. Because you've shown that throughout the season that you're a very good, well-structured team. You get what I'm saying? Like, we don't need to know that. It's now about
Yeah,
grinding out the results. Like, you could have easily won against Liverpool. You could have easily won
yeah,
against Liverpool.
yeah,
You won. And we're talking about a Ramsdale masterclass. You know, Arsenal have finally broken Anfield curse and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
like,
Literally,
right now, it's just about fine margins right now. It's not really anything else. You know,
and like even
that's
even
the, that's
the West Ham game, like I know obviously, I mean, we didn't deserve to win that game. The second half, we got dominated, but like it's like you're saying, it's them fine margins. Like if you look for the first West Ham goal, when Declan Rice cuts it out from Partey, he uses his hand. Like I mean, it's one of
mm,
them. If VAR calls that back and they don't get that first goal, and we go in 2-0 up, maybe it's a different game. And I mean, if Arsenal walk away with a win at Anfield and a win at the London Stadium, and then beat Southampton as well, that's a massive, massive, massive boost at the Etihad. And like that's one of
mm,
them where like the team can go to the Etihad, and even if they lose, they're still clearly the favourites for the title. But it's them fine
yeah.
margins, man, and that's you can't blame anyone else but yourself for not getting over the line.
No, exactly, man. So, well, what apart from City, is there any other games that you're a bit concerned about during the running?
Newcastle away is the on paper the difficult one.
Oh,
That's a
oh,
difficult
that's
one.
yeah,
We
that's a
have
that's
Newcastle away, we have Chelsea at home and Brighton at home.
mm,
They're the difficult games. But that being said, City have Brighton away and Brentford away, which are not easy. But their fixture list is
mm.
definitely more favourable than ours.
And should we have to talk about Haaland, innit, man?
Mm.
We gotta talk about Haaland, man. Like, yeah, he might be the difference in the league, innit? For between you guys, you know. Obviously, yeah, you got KDB in it, of course, but bro, what this guy is doing, we ain't seen this before, bro. We ain't seen this before. This is unbelievable what he's doing. He might bag 60 goals this season in all comps.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, you know what? Like we gotta have to we have to face up to it. Like me in particular. Like this is one of the best Premier League seasons of all time. Like individuals. Like I can talk about his aesthetic quality, but in terms of doing what's meant to be done, bro, we haven't seen. I don't know if we've seen anything better than this, bro. In terms of overall quality, I'll say Suarez. Suarez is the best probably I've
But
seen in it
like
all.
even Suarez, yeah, we talk about like that season was incredible that Suarez had, but there's still
Against the
things that
top
you can
four.
poke at it. That exactly
Yeah,
like so you
yeah.
could to a certain extent you could say that he was a flat track bully, but Haaland is bagging against all of the big six. He's bagging against all of the big teams in Europe. Like the guy's just a he's just a goal scorer, and like maybe if he was on I don't know like 20 goals or something like that, you might kind of just say oh well, he's just a poacher. Like for example like Aubameyang. Like Aubameyang was a good goal scorer and
Yeah.
he helped his team, but he wasn't scoring enough to the point where you can make that argument that he's not making the team worse to a certain extent. But Haaland is bagging so many goals that the argument of completeness is a bit irrelevant.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, innit? It doesn't matter.
Do
It
you know what I
doesn't matter.
mean? Like, who
Yeah.
cares if you're not going to the halfway line to linking up the play? Like, you're bagging. He'll probably. I don't know if he'll hit 60, but I think he'll hit 50 goals this season.
Oh yeah,
Which
100%. 100%.
I'm not sure what he's on now. I think he's on 32 Premier League goals.
Yeah, yeah,
But
about that. Yeah, he's joint with Salah.
yeah, I think I'd say Premier League goals he'll probably finish on 36, 37. If he hits 40, that would be ridiculous because that's more than a goal a game. Like
I kind of want him to do that though.
I think
It'll
it'll
just look
be
nice.
I think it'll be indicative of how like good he's been. Do you know what I mean?
Bro, that's actually like I was even thinking of it now. I don't even know if I've seen a better finisher than this guy. Messi's the better finisher. He's the only guy. But in terms of like a
Yeah,
box
especially in
threat,
terms of like clinical. Like that guy, give him a chance and he's not missing.
bro, like as mad as it sounds to some people, I think he's a better finisher than CR7. Like in terms of just finishing
There's
in
an
the
argument to be
box.
made, bro. There's an argument to be made.
Like
Like
who,
I
who,
think
who who
the
else can I actually say?
in terms of like because we talk about like the best finishers, like I think in a Premier League perspective, someone like Heung-min Son comes up a lot. But even Son, like I think Haaland's more clinical than Son, man.
See, this is where we also need to like because you see Kane, yeah, Kane can strike through a ball better than Haaland, isn't it? Left
Mm,
foot, right foot. But in terms
mm.
of just in the box, finishing, overhead kick, header, tapping, it's just like, bro, it's like you can't even look at who's got a better shooting technique. Because if we're looking at shooting technique, Kane's got a better shooting technique than Haaland, and we can agree on that in terms of the
Yeah,
way Kane strikes for a ball. But in terms of just like pure goal scoring, like I'm just here to score goals, bro. I don't know, bro. Like this guy is an animal, bro. Like it's
the
just
thing, I think
crazy.
I think the only thing that I would say is like a negative, and it's not even a negative about Haaland, is the fact that I don't think he'll get any better than he is now. Like he's 21, 22, and I think this is the level that he'll sustain over his career. Like I don't see him because I don't really think there's anything that he can massively improve. Do you know what I mean? I don't see him becoming like a complete player. I see him basically being the same player. But if he can do that for 10 years, that's a scary thought, man. It's a scary, scary thought.
Bro. Like, yeah. Shout out Max, man. The guy said what Haaland was world class in 2019. I remember when this guy was playing for RB Salzburg. Max was saying, yo, this guy is a world class striker. And
Mm.
his point's been proven because in terms of being a striker, bro, he's already one of the best that we've seen. Like,
And I wouldn't even say he's
you
got better.
can't.
I say he was the same player at Salzburg than he is at Man City. It's just that
Yeah.
he's playing for a better team in a more competitive league, and he's still by far the best striker in that league
And
with the best.
another key point, he's got the best creator in the Premier League behind
It's
him,
true. Yeah,
creating
it's true. It's true.
chances. Like, he's just nuts, bro.
I
He's
don't.
nuts,
The thing
man.
is, I don't know how City improve. Like, if City don't win the Champions League in this season, I don't know how they get better. Because even if you look at the defensive side of the ball, like I think we'll probably end up coming onto it. But their game against Bayern,
Hmm.
that when they how Pep deployed four centre backs, Bayern had they had some openings, but by and large they were really out of the game.
Mm, yeah, nah. I would still look at their wingers, man. Like, who they're playing Silva out wide and Grealish.
I mean,
It depends on how. Yeah.
Grealish has been very good like post World Cup. Um, Silva potentially I can see that, but I reckon they'll probably play Julian Alvarez out there because I
Mm.
mean he's not going to replace Haaland, is he realistically?
Oh, never, 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 man. Nah, nah.
But yeah,
Haaland.
maybe a right winger, maybe a right winger.
I think they'll get another midfielder too, because I think Gundogan will leave. I think
Yeah, his
Silva might
contract's
leave.
up, and I mean Bernardo Silva makes noises that he wants to leave every summer. So I
Yeah,
don't know whether this summer he eventually will, but Gundogan will leave anyway.
100%. And then what? Who they got left? Rodri, De Bruyne, and who are the other Calvin Phillips. I think he might go Calvin Phillips. You
Really?
never know.
It depends.
Maybe just be on the bench.
I don't know. I heard rumors that they might be interested in Rice, which would I fear for the Premier League if that happens, man. I
Mm.
I, I think the Premier League's in trouble.
Let's see what they, because we're gonna talk about it. Let's see what they do in the champs. Because yeah, Pep's a maniac though. He probably keep going. He
But do
probably
you
keep
think that
going. Because I'm
like
thinking, yeah.
do you think that like this is the most kind of not confident, but the this is like the most kind of confident that you've been of City winning the Champions League? Like this is the most they've been the favorite.
Yeah, probably, probably because remember what we would always say about City is that they didn't have the cutting edge to really push
And that's
through in
Haaland.
the. They got Haaland now, and one thing
Mm.
you can't say about Haaland is that he's a flat track bully. Like Haaland will
Literally,
score anywhere,
literally. Yep,
anytime in it. So
yep.
it's one of them ones where the only one I'm looking at is Real Madrid.
But I
Real
don't know if
Madrid.
their heritage will be able to carry them against Man City. Like, I think it is. They're Real Madrid are a good team, but they're not good enough to beat Man City. I don't think.
I think they got a big chance to beat Man City. I think it'll
Real
be.
Madrid.
Yeah, I think they have a big
I
chance.
mean, I didn't
Real
think they
Madrid
looked
have
that
a.
great against Chelsea. To be honest, Chelsea get the score down, and Chelsea have been terrible.
Mm, it's just.
Like, I
Oh,
wasn't overly impressed.
that's the thing because I'm now looking at Vinny is obviously going to be the main guy. I think Vinny's starting to step up now. But
Definitely.
City's centre backs. Who would Vinny be up against? Would it be Ake? I think it'd be against Akanji or
Probably John
Stones. I
Stones.
don't know.
Probably Stones.
Mm. Yeah, bro, you know what, City. You know what? The funny thing about City, they're not like City of old. Like the small techie players.
No,
Is it? They're a bit more
no. They've got
physical
combative
nowadays,
players, bro.
bro. You see the way Rodri was moving, the way the
Bro,
guy bullied Musiala, bro. He bullied him, bullied him.
the way they beat Bayern was very impressive. Very, very impressive. That second half,
Mm.
they destroyed them.
But you see the thing with City though, I can't lie though. This is what I was saying, man, with Tuchel. I do feel like if they played against Nagelsmann, it would have been a harder game. If it was Nagelsmann in charge, I
Do you,
think it would have been a harder game.
do you think that's just because Tuchel hadn't had that long with the squad?
Because I watched them a bit against Hoffenheim, and they don't
Yeah,
look
they
good
were crap,
offensively.
man. They were crap.
I watched them against Hoffenheim. They
Yeah.
don't look good offensively, and I've watched Bayern a bit before in the league, and they've always looked very, very dangerous in attack. Like they score bare goals. But since Tuchel's come in, they've looked a bit toothless up top now. You get what I'm saying?
Do you
Now they're
think
starting
that's
to look. Hmm?
Do you think that's a fair criticism that can be made for Tuchel's career, especially at Chelsea as well?
That he's not good with like
Offensive
implementing
players.
an attacking system. Yeah,
Hmm.
because the only
Hmm.
one that he's done. Cause look at PSG, you have Neymar, and Mbappe. Like, what do you need to tell Neymar to do? Neymar will get the
Yeah.
ball, go past three man, pass it to Mbappe in space, and Mbappe will do a crazy finish. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And then at Dortmund, he had Usman Dembele when he was coming up. And he had
Yeah.
Aubameyang, he had Royce in it. Obviously, Bayern have a top talents in it. Sane,
Yeah.
Musiala. Gnabry's looking a bit funny, but you know,
But the thing is
but yeah,
with a lot of Bayern's talents, yeah, I think I know people would take Bundesliga tax a little bit too far, especially with them because they do have top quality players. But I think some players that Bayern have kind of need to adapt a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like when they
what do you
play
mean?
against certain teams, the way that
Mm-hmm.
they play week in week out is not going to be effective against them teams, against like non
Yeah,
Bundesliga teams.
yeah, yeah. Because you saw the way City were catching them at times in transition, where you're seeing Kimmich like it's no man's land. Goretzka's running here
That's
and
the
there.
one. That's another thing that I think I told you. I was like, I think that Kimmich and Goretzka is the most overrated midfield partnership in world football, in my opinion. Like
Mm,
Kimmich, I've never really seen the hype behind him. I think his positioning is poor. I think he gets beat in transition all the time. He doesn't win a lot of his duels. His passing is okay, but it's not an elite tier. It's not like he's not Tony Cruz. He's not Bastian
yeah,
Schweinsteiger. He's
yeah,
he's I don't know what he's fantastic at. Like and going forward, I mean, he scored a couple goals this season, but he's not an elite offensive threat. And Goretzka as well. Like I don't know what elite attribute Goretzka has apart from working hard, like and kind of being combative.
I think the thing with Kimmich is so yeah, I agree with you with definitely with Goretzka. Goretzka is just they said he's McTominay with muscles.
Bro,
But
German
yeah,
Jordan
nah,
Henderson is what he is.
bro, yeah, he's not very good, I won't lie. But with Kimmich, Kimmich is a funny one. I think he is good on the ball. I think he has good passing range.
But I wouldn't
But
even say his
yeah,
passing range is that elite though. Like someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold is gets cooked way more than Kimmich, but his passing range, in my opinion, is clear of Kimmich.
I wouldn't say it's clear. I wouldn't say it's clear, man.
I
But
would,
I think they're
especially long
I think
passing.
I think they're from the same family, those two, in my eyes. I think they're this from the same family, how I look at them.
I think Trent is a
I think
much bigger offensive threat than Kimmich is.
well, Kimmich's long range passing us, he can ping a ball well and he can strike through a ball pretty well too. I'll give him that.
He can,
Like
but
he's
I don't
good.
think his but like Trent, people like Trent's vision is also very, very good.
Mm, okay, I hear that. Yeah. Like Trent can put something on the sixpence, like, yeah.
Yeah, like I can see kind of for me anyway, Trent is a lot bigger offensive threat than Kimmich.
You know, one thing I was thinking, especially during the World Cup, I was thinking Kimmich should go back to right back because
Same,
I don't think
same.
yeah, I
He's
don't
not.
think
I never really thought he had the minerals for midfield. Like,
mm,
and Bayern has seemed to have done that with a couple of players. Like, Alaba's another one, for example. Like every time I watch Real Madrid and I see Alaba playing at centre back, or when I used to watch Alaba play like in midfield previously, I never understood why they bothered moving him from left back. Like, I don't see him excelling in
mm,
either of them two roles more than he did when he was a left back. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I get you, I get you. I think Lam was like the one that they did, and obviously Lam was quality anyway he plays. So
Yeah,
that's the
literally.
thing with like Germans. Germans are very versatile in it, so they kind of like that versatility
Mm.
aspect in this feeling that in their players. So maybe that's the culture over there, and maybe that's why you see that.
Potentially, but and I think part of it is the fact that it's sort of like PSG syndrome as well, where they don't really face much competition, so they don't really get to
Mm.
trial their ideas until it's too late to a certain extent.
Nah, I hear you, man. I hear you. I think the Bundesliga's like in terms of how they play against Bayern is improving slightly because a couple years ago, bro, the
You
way
think?
Bayern would just manage
Well,
slowly.
they were hyping up Der Klassiker this year, talking about as a box office event. It was like 4-0 in the first half.
But you see, that's the thing with Dortmund. I don't know. Dortmund's just not a serious institution, man. They're just not serious, man. They're just not a serious
It's funny how at
institution.
one point like Dortmund under Jurgen Klopp, and even a little bit under Tuchel was everyone's kind of like it was like the hipster team. Like everyone loved Dortmund. Everyone was like, yeah, like
Mm,
they're such a good team. They raise talents. But then after a while, people are just got sick of how pathetic they are.
yeah, no, it's big time, man. It's big, big,
Like,
big
they
boy
just
time.
roll over every time. Every time they look even promising, they just roll over and get smashed 5-0.
Yeah, they're not. It's probably just the mentality in the team. Like they don't have the, like you're saying, the minerals to really push forward, man. But yeah,
Mm,
like you're saying, the level of competition in the Bundesliga in terms of the top level teams is not there for Bayern, in it. So in terms of adapting to maybe what's necessary for the Champions League, they don't have it. And you saw that at time, especially in the second half, City bullied them physically. They
hmm.
bullied them physically, and you could see Bayern. They kind of run out of ideas at that point. The way
They
City
just
were just moving
they
to
just
them.
gave it to Sane and just let Sane shoot from 30 yards. Like when
Pretty
as
much.
soon as it hit like the 60th minute, they just resorted to shooting from like 30 or 40 yards. They ran out of ideas completely.
Mm. You see, and I remember I said at the time I found the sacking very weird, sacking
Mm,
Nagelsmann halfway through the season, and because they were doing well under him, especially in the Champions League. They went through a group that had Barca and Inter, so I was like,
mm.
they're in a good position, but I don't know if there was things behind the
They beat
scenes
PSG
with
as well, like relatively
yeah.
comfortably.
So I don't know if there was things behind the scenes that caused all these issues, in it. You just even
Potentially.
if you wanted to bring Tuchel in, bring them halfway in the season, it just didn't really make sense to be honest, man. Honestly,
But I don't. Maybe it's me, but I never really. I don't see Tuchel's style of football fitting Bayern Munich's kind of
I
identity.
did. Yeah, I felt the same as well. I didn't think it was a good stylistic fit as well.
It, for maybe it's the fact that I'm kind of viewing him from his Chelsea career, but I guess that's the most recent that you can take. But I see him as a defensive coach,
Mm.
and
No, I agree.
For Bayern, I don't see how you can be a defensive coach and be the front runner in the league.
Yeah, it was weird, man. I did find it weird. Obviously, we're gonna give him time in it because you
Mm.
can't just write him off completely.
Oh,
He
most
has,
definitely,
yeah.
most definitely.
But I just looked at the fit at the time and what Nagelsmann was doing. I was just like, this is a bit weird in a sense. Like it didn't feel like there was a match, you know.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a weird one. But keeping on with the Champions League, is there any other teams that you're looking at? So you said Real Madrid, Man City. Are those just
In
a
terms of
clear front?
winning it, whoever makes it out of that bracket, Man City and Real Madrid, I think have got an easy final. Like the draw is so perfect for that other side that like they're all pretty poor teams to be honest with you.
Mm,
Like AC Milan have been very inconsistent this year. Inter Milan have been even more. I think they've lost 3 games at the San Siro in a row recently, which
mm,
is shocking. Um, Benfica's an underdog and they've done well, but they don't have the firepower to compete with the big boys in the Champions League. They're going to be that next underdog. You know, every year there's that
yeah.
team that
Mhm,
overachieves. They're going to be that team. But even then, I don't think they're one of the better ones of them teams. So they'll do well
yeah.
to get past Inter. But like Napoli without Osimhen look pretty poor as well. So I
Mm.
don't have any confidence in any of them. I don't even think Napoli will get through. I think AC Milan battered them 4-0
Oh
in the
yeah,
league.
they did. Yeah,
Did they win the first leg 1 or 2-0 or something?
it was 1-0. I think it was 1-0. That's what I think I looked
Yeah,
it. Yeah, it was 1-0.
I think they'll beat Napoli and go through to the semi. They'll probably go through to the final. It'll probably be an AC Milan and City final. And fortunately for City, I think this will be the one that they'll take because AC Milan are not that good.
Yeah, no, AC Milan compared to their pomp, nowhere near, man. Nah, they
Like they
couldn't do
still start
anything.
Giroud up front. Like it's 2023, man.
Yeah, I'm actually deep in it, bro. Like, so Bayern will be out, Chelsea, I think, will be out. So it'll just be really Man City and Real Madrid as like the two like teams that you're looking at as like these are
If
like
you
Premier teams.
if you replace Chelsea with Benfica, and Chelsea had to play Inter and then either one of Napoli or AC Milan, I'm very confident that Chelsea win that bracket and go to the final. And Chelsea are
Mm.
useless.
We need to talk about Chelsea, innit? And I saw
Mm.
someone say this. Do you think they've got worse under Lampard since Potter left?
There's been two games. I saw them against Wolves, and they were bad. They were bad. Um, I can't remember who their first game was against, but I think
It
did they
was
draw?
no, it was against
I
Wolves.
think
Wolves
they
was the Lampard's first game, I think. I think it was.
really.
So he's
Uh,
played Wolves, Real Madrid, and
oh
who did
yeah,
he
you're right.
play
You're
this
right. You're
week?
right. Against Brighton, yeah. Um,
Oh, they played.
I saw the
Oh, so he's
Brighton
lost
game.
all three of his games.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's bad.
I think they scored their first goal um, against Brighton at the weekend, and even that, like, I don't know if you watched that game, but Brighton
No.
should have won 3 or 4-1. Like Chelsea got dominated at home. Um, Kepa made a couple of good saves, but the overall play was just shocking, man. I wouldn't even put it down to Lampard's fault. Like it's even when assessing Graham Potter, I don't think it's Graham Potter's fault entirely. So I don't think it's
Mm,
fair to lay that criticism at Lampard either. Like I think
mm,
there's just the club is a complete mess. It's clear that Todd Bowley is the one making the decisions, and it's clear that he lacks any sort of experience or intelligence or cutting edge when it comes to running a football club and knowing what's best for on pitch
yeah.
performance. Um, I don't know who the new manager is going to be. I know Enrique and Nagelsmann are the two kind of big names. Uh, I'm not sure how either of them do, but Chelsea is a mess, a huge mess.
Mm. Yeah, nah. Looking at those two, I don't think they Enrique. Do you think Enrique could do? He could. Obviously, they're good managers. I just
I don't know if I don't think the team fits him though, because
yeah.
he likes very highly technical players, and Chelsea have a lot of good. Chelsea have some good players, but I don't think their squad has the overall level of technicality to perform at a high level.
Mm, I think
Like
they
if we
got a
look at
good base.
Chelsea's squad, I think the midfield obviously needs a revamp. Like in terms of the midfield, I think Enzo Fernandez, maybe Kovacic, maybe, and I think that's about it. That has like a high technical level. The defense, I mean, Reece James and Chilwell is always injured, so I mean, might as well not even
Mm.
count them. But Cucurella's definitely not got a high technical level. Koulibaly doesn't either. Badiashile I haven't seen enough of,
Oh no,
but
Badiashile is technical. He's technical. He's a
yeah, I
good.
haven't
He's a
seen
very.
enough of him to be honest, so I can't really comment. But I think they're struggling there. And offensively, we know Sterling can play in a highly possession technical side, so I think he's good for that. Mudrik, we haven't. I mean, he had a good kind of assist, if you want to call it that, at the weekend. But
Mm.
aside from that, we haven't seen anything crazy. And the other forwards, again, I haven't seen anything too crazy. Maybe João Felix, maybe he's technically he's very very good, but he also has problems.
Yeah, 100%, man. He,
But they're a mess.
and the thing with Felix, yeah, I just feel like he has poor like intelligence of what's going on
His
around
decision
him.
making,
Like
yeah, is bad.
he's a bit too individualistic at times. You know, he's always in terms of sometimes even his passing's a bit underweight. You know, he doesn't use his teammates very well. But like you can see like there's quality there. Like you can see there
Mm,
is definitely quality there. There's definitely a player there. But he probably I've seen some people say that he should play as a false nine to kind of simplify his game a bit more. I hear that.
mm.
But
That requires runners
yeah,
though, and do Chelsea have runners?
Madrid, you got Sterling, you know,
You
I
do,
think that
but
could work.
Chelsea haven't really like that. Chelsea have looked awful offensively.
Yeah.
They've looked so bad.
Cool.
And there was reports that Sterling is already disillusioned,
Why?
just from the overall kind of management and the way the club's running. Well, it didn't name him, but I said one um, big. I think it's like a big name first team player who signed this season for big money is
Mm.
already disillusioned. And I mean, it's not going to be Enzo or Mudryk. Koulibaly, I don't think it'd be either. So I think
It might
Sterling
be
is
though. It's Koulibaly they were saying about selling him. Remember?
potentially, but I mean, I don't think he signed for a massive fee.
Mm. Yeah.
So I mean, that's their. But for me, their problem started before Todd Bowley. Like their problem started with when people were praising Marina Granovskaya and saying, "Oh, she's this and she's that." I think I even told you before, like a couple of years ago, Chelsea have so many profiles that don't fit each other. It seems like they've just
Mm.
accumulated a lot of good players. And for me, it really the ball started rolling when Frank Lampard had that £200 million transfer window, and he bought
Mm.
Ziyech, Havertz, um, Chilwell was another one, Malang Sarr. Um, he just bought a loads of like random players. Timo Werner, like he bought
Mm.
loads of random players that weren't gonna fit in the same Chelsea team that he had success with previously. Like, how are you meant to fit Ziyech, Havertz, and Mason Mount in the same team as with Timo Werner? For me, I don't see it. And then that's just progressed with Todd Bowley buying loads and loads of other profiles. Like Chelsea have 33 first team squad players. Do they have a
Yeah,
number
that's
six?
no,
No. Do they have a first team striker? No.
no. Well,
Like,
technically they do in Aubameyang, but they don't want to use him, innit?
I mean, even Aubameyang, is Aubameyang a first team striker anymore?
Nah, it don't look like it, man.
And they're
Hasn't.
arguably two of the most important roles in the team. Like, did Chelsea have a creative player?
Well, out and out creator. I
Yeah,
wouldn't say there's a
because Felix is
consistent
not
one.
either. Felix has more
Mm.
yellow cards and assists in his career.
Yeah.
Like, is Felix gonna? Felix is not gonna be your first team creator. I think he can be, but he's not right now. Havertz is
Yeah.
definitely not. Mason
No.
Mount definitely can't be your first team creator.
Mm-mm.
Ziyech is for me. He's not kind of dominant enough on the ball to be your first team creator. And aside from that, I don't think anyone else is creating. Reece James is probably your most creative player.
Mm. Mm.
So
And
like
he's injured
we have
half
a
the time, innit?
literally, and you don't have a replacement right back for when he's injured, even though you know he's going to be injured for 15 games of the season.
Mm.
Like you
Yeah,
have
it's true.
your club's such a mess, man. Like there's 30. Well, their club is such a mess. There's 33 first team
Mm.
players. Most of them play in the same position, and somehow none of them are good enough.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know.
Chelsea. We'll see what they do in the summer. They're gonna have a big clear out by the looks of it,
Mm,
definitely. They have to.
mm.
And yeah, we'll see who they bring in as a manager because that I think that
Which
that important. Hmm?
which players would you keep from their squad as it is?
Um, I still think Mendy's good enough. I think they should keep give him a go again.
Mm,
Obviously James and Chilwell.
mm.
I mean, they've given Thiago Silva another year. Even though I love Thiago Silva, I think you should move on from him. But I know Chelsea fans like Levi Colwell a lot. I'll give him a
Yeah,
chance.
yeah.
Badia
I
Shield,
rate that.
I think Badia Shield's a quality centre back. I
Mm,
was never big on Fafana. I don't know why they spent 80 million on him. I think it was a poor
yeah,
deal, but
that's
he's young in it, so you gotta give him that chance. But in my opinion, it was a poor piece of business. It was the same with Cucurella. I don't know why you're spending 60 million on a utility player. In my
yeah,
eyes,
that's
he's just a
very.
decent player. Um, but obviously, if you're gonna keep Fafana, but I would sell Cucurella. I don't think
Mm.
he's worth keeping. Um, you keep Enzo. You keep Mount, in my opinion. You keep Mount. I think Mount is a valuable player to have. I still think he's a good player. You
Mm.
keep Kante. I think maybe you sell Kovacic, but if he wants to stay, you keep him. But I would look to move on from him. You sell Pulisic, Ziyech.
Gallagher's one that's I think everyone's saying they would sell.
If you get a high enough fee for him, so if someone's willing to pay like 35, 40 million, then sell him. But I feel like
Mm.
he's a good squad player. The energy that he brings, I think he can be a good goal threat from midfield. I think you just got to look at what the value that they can bring to you. Like you look at Pulisic, I don't really see the value that he can bring
If you get 20
unless
million for Conor Gallagher from Newcastle, would you sell him?
No, I'd say 30.
Okay,
Because look,
okay.
look, look,
Loftus
Arsenal
Cheek. What
still,
about Loftus Cheek?
yeah, you'd move on from him as well. I
Mm.
love Loftus Cheek, but you move on from him. Because you know the Gallagher thing that you said, you look at Arsenal, Arsenal sold Willock for what, 25 million?
Hmm.
You can get more for Gallagher because Gallagher's got the Premier League, at the same time. Because you're looking at the time when you saw Willock. Willock had a good like 6 months at Newcastle, but
Yeah,
Gallagher's got the season at Crystal
at
Palace
Palace.
and he's playing
Yeah,
for Chelsea. So
yeah.
you can
It's
get a
true. It's
lot
true.
more from him. So I keep Sterling. Felix, it depends on how much they want. I
They won't
wouldn't
want
pay
less than
above.
90 million.
They would want less. They want no more than what?
They won't want any less than 90 million. They will have to be 90 or more.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't buy him then. I wouldn't
Mm.
spend 90 million then. I like Felix a lot, very talented, but nah. You're in a position where you're not a ready-made team. You can't be having passengers.
Luxury
You
players.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this isn't a detriment about his quality. I think he's an absolute fantastic world-class talent, one of the most talented that's coming through right now. But those sorts of players need a good team because he's not. You see, the thing with Felix, he's not like a Neymar. If you
Mm.
have a Neymar, you buy him no matter what in it. You get what I'm saying? Because
Mm.
that talent transcends a system. He's not
Mm.
at that talented of a level that you can say he transcends a system. He still
Yeah.
needs, good players around him to help,
And I think
push him.
people forget that as well. Like people, when they're analyzing players and managers, they look at like or like coming into clubs. I think they forget that like it's not just that player's quality whether they're going to be good. They need to come. The team needs to fit them. Do you know what I mean?
100%, 100%. It's so true, man. Like at the end of the day, football is a team sport. As much as
Yeah,
we like to do the individual, like Haaland's bagging, we can't forget he's got De Bruyne, he's got Rodri, he's got
bro.
John Stones.
Like
Yeah,
for Brentford, like Ben Mee has been one of the best centre backs in the league this year for Brentford. But if you put him
mm,
into Man City, he's not going to perform
different. I
anywhere
know.
near
Yeah,
that level because he's being asked to do different things.
exactly, man. Exactly, 100%.
But
Looking
so
into the
Ziyech
team anymore. Yeah, you say Ziyech. You say Ziyech,
gone,
definitely. Yeah,
Havertz,
100%. You'd sell him. He's not worth anything, really and truly. Yeah, get what I'm
and
saying.
then
I
you've got
wouldn't.
Broja.
Yeah, keep him as a backup. You gotta
Mm,
see how he recovers from the injury, but he's definitely a useful player to have, man. Like that physical profile, you can push you up the pitch. Strong, quick.
mm.
I don't know how good his finishing is though. I wouldn't say,
I
but
mean,
he's young
we'll
in
see
it.
after the
It's
injury
another
as
thing.
well.
Yeah.
But
With Loftus Cheek actually, if he's willing to be a bench player, because obviously,
nah, you need to let him go, man. He's
no, but it's just a thing of what's it called? Just a player that can play in many different positions, isn't it?
but you've got
Because he's not.
Carney.
Yeah, yeah, it's true actually.
He's a lot more
Yeah,
talented
Loftus
than
Cheek.
Loftus.
He's not more talented than Loftus Cheek, but Loftus
Well,
Cheek's got to
at
move
this
on.
stage of his career compared to where Loftus Cheek is in his career right now, the
Yeah, Loftus
potential.
Cheek's yeah, he's gone. He's gone. I get it. He's
That's what I
gone. He's
mean.
gone.
Like
Yeah,
at this
yeah.
stage,
I hear you. Who else have Chelsea bought? They bought more players. Let me look at their team.
they're,
Let me
they're,
look. Oh, I'll sell
they're
Kepa as well, man. Get Kepa out. That's nonsense. Get Kepa out.
you know, I it might be unpopular, but I think Kepa's better than people think he is. He's not great, but he's better than people think he is.
So the thing with Kepa, he's active around his box, isn't it? Like I
Yeah.
think he's very proactive around his box. Decent distribution. He's not a terrible shot stopper. The issue
Oh,
with Kepa is that he can't fill up his whole goal in it. Like he doesn't have the
yes.
reach.
I think it's because his positioning's poor. Like he stands on his line, so the goal's a lot bigger.
Mm.
So like especially
He
shot
doesn't have
won't
the
even
reach
be
as well.
yeah, exactly. Like shot won't even be top corner and he won't be able to reach it. But I think part of that is positioning. Like if he came out a little bit, he might be able to close down the goal a bit more and be a bit more imposing.
So actually, look, we can go through the players now. A little thing that we can do now. So obviously, you're gonna
Yeah.
keep Enzo. You're gonna keep
Mm,
Mudryk.
mm.
So would you let go of Felix?
I wouldn't pursue him if I was Chelsea. I wouldn't.
Hmm. Kante, obviously Kante. I think he's gonna sign a new contract, right? Or has he?
I think so, and I think they should do that as well. He was by
Mm.
far Chelsea's best player when he played.
Aubameyang will let go of. Pulisic will let go of.
Hmm.
Noni, you keep Noni in it, Madueke.
He just signed.
Yeah, so he's not gonna go anywhere. You sell Ziyech,
Mm.
you'll sell Havertz. Obviously, you keep Fofana. If Liverpool come in with a bid for Mount, you might let him go in it. But
I think they should. I
I
think it'll
feel
be
like,
best for everyone, to be honest with you. And people like
bro,
Liverpool fans
I
have
think he's
been
good enough. Hmm?
Liverpool fans have been shitting on Mount, but I actually don't think he'll be a bad player for them. I think he fits their system pretty well.
Bro, he'd probably be their best midfielder. Who's there? Who they got in midfield? That's
I mean, right
quality.
now he would, but ideally for them, they would want their midfield to be better than that.
Mm. I think he's better than what people give him credit for. I think he's a
So
good
do I,
talent, man.
but I don't
Mm.
think you can win the league with Mount being your best midfielder.
Oh no, not being your best, but like just a center, like them guys around the team in it, like
He, I
one of
think,
those.
I think you can win the league if he's your third best midfielder out of the
Yeah,
three.
yeah, yeah,
He can
yeah,
definitely be a starter, but he can't be your best.
yeah.
So I mean,
So Badia Shield will keep him.
hmm,
I said we should sell Kepa. You
hmm,
know, Fofana. I mean, he's young in it, yeah, so it's not really
he's
that
not
deep.
going anywhere.
Sterling, you'll keep in my eyes. Obviously James Chukwuemeka is not going anywhere.
Chalobah.
Silver, huh?
What about Chalobah?
I'll keep Chalobah. I think he should be backup right back. I think he's a good right back. I
Yeah, I
saw him
think
play
he's
right back against Liverpool, and I was like, you know what? He's very solid there.
for me. He's a steady Eddie, and I think you kind of need some of
Mm.
them. Uh,
Who else? Zachariah,
Aspi, I think
Zachariah
one.
should go. Yeah, Aspie. Yeah, he's time to go. Innit? But no, Chelsea have got some good pieces to work with. I think it's just about
There's no core.
Bowley needs to, huh?
There's no core to that team. That was the difference between like Chelsea in like the
Mm,
2000s and like to a certain extent 2010s. The core was still the same. So no
yeah.
matter the manager and no matter the other pieces that came in, the core was still like elite level players. You still had Czech, Terry, Lampard, and Drogba. So you
Hmm.
still have a minimum level of expectation that you're going to get out of that squad. Whereas Chelsea
Mm.
now, Kepa, maybe Thiago Silva if he's not injured. Um, I don't know who's playing in midfield and I don't know who's playing up front.
Yeah. No, it's true, man. It's a poor core, very poor core to the team. Do teams even have cores like that in England?
Yeah, I think
Because
they
that
do. Like,
City don't
I
really have
think
a core like.
I think we do though.
Yeah, I agree. You guys have a core.
I think
Liverpool had a
Liverpool had
core,
a
actually.
core.
I think
Yeah,
it's just City. What am I saying? It's just City, man. City
yeah,
can rotate
yeah.
anybody. And yeah, City's not a good example to ever use. Yeah. So yeah, you need a core definitely, and
I
that's
think
one
even to
thing
a certain
that
extent, I think
Chelsea.
even Man United next season will have a core. I think United will have. They'll probably sign a keeper and another midfielder and a striker, and then I think they'll have them players that they'll play every game.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100% is key to develop that one. Um, any other topics to go over?
Maybe the top four race because I know there's a lot of teams. There's like nearly six teams in that top four race.
Hey, Liverpool winning 3-1.
Yeah, that's. I mean, they're playing Leeds, so it's not surprising.
Oh, Leeds are in trouble, man. Leeds are in trouble.
Yeah, I don't know that relegation battle as well
It's
is.
wild, man. It's wild.
I think Palace. I
Ooh.
think Palace and Wolves. I
Palace
want
are
to say are
definitely safe.
safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think they needed to sack Vieira for that though.
Bro, I've been watching, man. Since he's gone, the football that they've been playing. Oof. Did you? Hey,
The
Eze.
teams that they've
Ooh,
been playing
ooh,
as well. The teams that they've
Eze.
been playing have been stinky.
I agree, but bro, they
Like
weren't even
Vieira
playing that
was
well
sacked
when he
because
was
he
there.
lost against like Arsenal, City, Liverpool, and the Big Six.
Yeah. It's harsh, isn't it? But bro, watching their games nowadays seems like there's a bit more.
Mm,
freedom and fluidity in terms of how they're playing. And I feel like another thing, I don't know if it's unpopular with the Palace fans, but it's time to move on from Zaha, man. Get a top quality. Obviously,
yeah.
your Palace, you're not going to get a top quality striker, but just
No,
getting
but
a more
you can
athletic.
delve into like the championship or like somewhere in Europe and get an undervalued player
They were talking about getting some guy from Coventry, but I don't
from
know if he's a.
Coventry. I wonder who that
Yeah, they
is.
got one.
Hmm.
What his name? I
Gyökeres,
can't even. I think that's the one. He's got 20 goals.
Swedish. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I can't say I've watched any of Coventry, so I don't know. But I know in the championship there is a lot of kind of good players that you could delve into and see what you can get out of them.
Hmm. Oh yeah, but let's get back to the top four. Top four. What are you saying about the top four racing?
United, I think, are fine. Um, Ooh, that being said, they're 3 points above Newcastle with a worse goal difference, and their centre backs are out for the season.
Mm.
They should be fine. They should be. If they
What's
don't
their
get
running
third,
time?
they've got Spurs away, Villa, Brighton away, and that's the only tough games left. Like they've got West Ham, Wolves, Bournemouth. So I mean, Spurs, Villa, and Brighton are not easy games.
Mm.
I think they'll beat Spurs. Um, don't think they'll beat Brighton away, and I think they will beat Villa at home because United at home are quite good.
Another thing that
Um,
we have to look at though is Europa League, innit? I don't know how tough they're gonna go with the
yeah,
Europa League.
they should beat Sevilla, man. Sevilla are useless.
They're like 17th in the league, man. They've fallen off.
That's what I mean. Like, and every time I watch Sevilla, they've been so devoid of ideas. Like United basically chucked 2 goals into their own net, and if United
Mm.
didn't do that, Sevilla were not going to score.
Mad, mad.
Newcastle have a very good chance. Very good chance. I
Yeah, I
part of
think
me
they've got a
wants to see
chance.
them do it. They've not got that difficult fixtures either. So they've got Spurs, they've got Arsenal, and they've got Chelsea. They should beat Spurs at home.
Yeah.
Arsenal at home, we'll see. And Chelsea, I think they'll beat. I think Newcastle could sneak in.
Mm,
Um, and
yeah.
Liverpool's problem is they're 9 points behind Newcastle, and they're 12 points behind United on the same games played.
Mm. And you
I
can't
think they're
trust them
just
not to drop points as well. You
literally
can't see
they've
them
just
going in.
left it too little, too late. Like I think it'll be United and Newcastle top four.
I think with Newcastle, it's just going to be injuries, man. If they get any, because I don't think they have the depth to cover up for injuries, isn't it? If they get one
Maybe, but
injury
they're only
to,
in one competition though.
mm, yeah, yeah.
So, and
I
I
think
think
they
they've
can,
got a
they
lot of
can, they can definitely, they can definitely.
definitely. It's the home form as well that's going to carry them to the top four. Because
Mm,
like the teams around them, by the nature of competing for top four, you're not consistent. So the teams around them are going to be dropping points as well. Like
yeah.
no team that's competing for top
And
four is
what's it called?
winning
Villa's above Liverpool,
steadily.
isn't it? But
Huh?
exactly. Liverpool, Aston Villa's above Liverpool, right? Isn't it? But
Yeah, but they've played one game more. So if Liverpool win their game in hand, they'll be on the same points.
mm, Emery's doing a job, man. He's doing well. It's good for
Yeah,
him, man.
he's doing a job, but I think he's overperforming. But I think it looks better because Gerard was massively underperforming.
So it's kind of like balancing the scales, sort of thing.
Kind of, but he's still doing better than he should be.
Mm, I
Like
heard
I
that.
think they
I
should
heard that.
be. They'll probably finish around seventh or eighth, which is, in my opinion, where their squad is in the Premier League. But
Mm,
from where he took them, it's a crazy achievement.
yeah. No, it's true. He's done well. He's done very well. I'll give him. You have to give him credit for that.
Yeah,
Going with the top
them,
four, I think I do feel like United will definitely get top four, but I'm not sure about who will get out of Spurs or Newcastle. I'm not too sure. But
But
I
Spurs
think
don't look like they can
United.
beat anyone at this point. Spurs looked really, really bad.
Mm, but what we're saying with the inconsistency, what maybe you gonna get three, four more wins. They'll definitely get three, four more wins. Maybe.
Let me see who Spurs have to play. So they got Spurs have got Newcastle away, United at home, Liverpool away, then Palace, Villa, Brentford, Leeds.
Mm,
That's a very, very tough run in. Like, I think they'll beat
tricky.
Palace at home. Brentford at home, they should beat, but it'd be difficult. But the others, I don't think they'll beat Villa away. I don't think they'll beat Liverpool away. Don't think they'll beat Newcastle away. And United at home is anyone's game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big one for them. Maybe, and I don't know, the whole thing with Conte might have left a sour taste to the season, innit? Might have really tanked the morale and vibe
I
in the
don't get
squad.
why they sacked him before the end of the season.
Hmm?
I don't get why they sacked him before the end of the season. Like it wasn't gonna get better.
Oh, you would have kept him to the end of the season and then mm.
Definitely. Like they haven't improved. They've got worse.
It might have been a thing though where the squad unanimously said, no, we don't want him to stay. Like he has to
Maybe, but
go
why would
now.
you keep his assistant?
Mm, yeah, it's true.
Like
It's true.
they're a mess.
Yeah, I
Brighton,
don't know.
if Brighton win, they have 2 games in hand on Spurs. If Brighton win their 2 games in hand, they will be 1 point behind Newcastle.
But I don't think they would.
Nah, I don't think they've got enough. They're a good team, but I just don't see them having the kind of I don't know where it's like the kind of oomph, especially like away from home.
Hmm. My thing, if you have a bagsman up top, I will back you. I don't.
Yeah,
You
goal
can't
scorer
be
is very
lying.
important. I mean,
You
Evan
don't. You,
Ferguson's a quality player, but he's injured, so and
mm,
he's 18, so you can't rely on him for like the running.
and then what? Welbeck's up top right now. Come on,
Yeah,
come on.
Welbeck's good though, but he's not an elite
Uh,
striker.
He's definitely a useful player to have, man. But when we're talking about like this is money time now, I ain't looking to Welbeck to cash in for me, bro. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, like he's a player that like in if you're where Brighton are, he's good for that level. But if you're trying to break into the top 6 spots, I don't think he's that guy.
Hmm. Yeah, these times, like you still back Spurs because Spurs have Son and Kane. You know, like man that can put it in whenever it's necessary.
I back
United
Spurs
have
to get into
Rashford.
the I back Spurs to get into the top 5, but I don't know if I back them over Newcastle. Newcastle are a lot objectively way more difficult to play against.
Yeah,
They
that's
don't.
true.
They've lost 4 games all year. The same amount as City.
Wow,
Their problem is just they draw.
that's mad. That's mad impressive. 4 games. Wow. No, that's very
They
good,
don't
man.
lose, bro.
Eddie
They
Howe's
they
on what
they
incredible.
just draw. Like that's like away from home they draw and then they win at home.
Mm,
I mean,
yeah, I'm just not sure about Newcastle, man. I'm not sure about Newcastle. I can't
I
lie,
get that,
man.
and I get they did get battered at the weekend by a good Villa team, but I
Mm.
I, I bet them to just get over the line. Just
We'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see. It's going to be an intriguing into the season. This is where the big boys show up in it. The money
there's a
into the
lot of
season.
like storylines that need to kind of be finished off. Do you know what I mean?
Big time,
Right.
big time.
The title
What's
race,
it
the
called?
top 4 race, the relegation race.
Exactly. 1 month left of the season, isn't it? Yeah, season
Hmm.
finishes this time next month.
Hmm.
Crazy. See, this goes fast, man. It goes faster nowadays. Let me look. When does the season officially end? On the 28th of May. Wow. So,
Yeah, so next month and a couple and like 2 weeks.
bro. But you guys know the drill. We'll be here when the season ends. We'll be here to give you that match review,
Post mortem.
the season overview. What are you saying? Open Arsenal doing it.
Hey, of course, bro. If the thing is, if Man City win the league, it won't win anything. It won't mean anything to them. If Arsenal win the league, the streets of London will be a bloodbath.
First time in 20 years, man. First time
People have
for a
been
lot of the
waiting,
guys.
bro. People have been waiting,
Mm, I said the streets will be looking crazy. North London will be looking. See,
bro.
I'll imagine, huh? Because all my life I haven't seen Arsenal win the title. Like I was
No,
alive in it, but
bro.
I
I was
don't
like
remember it
4 years old. I don't remember.
exactly, man. So see Arsenal win the league, man. Crazy sight, man. Never thought we'll see the day.
I said
But
never
um,
thought.
but I think that's it, man. Gone over the champs, Prem. I gave my respects to Haaland before anybody say I'm an aesthetics guy. Look, he doesn't pass the eye test, but I give him his credit where it's due.
Your eye test.
He's yeah, whatever, man. But yeah, man. Yeah, I think that's it for us today. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share with your people. We'll be back again soon. Make sure you hit the bell notification.